AITA for refusing to let my sister's boyfriend stay at my house after he caused a huge scene and ruined my family's holiday? This all started about 6 months ago, but the fallout is still ongoing, and honestly, I'm still not sure if I'm in the wrong here. A little background. I'm 32, married, and have 2 kids. My younger sister, 28, has been dating her boyfriend, Mike, for about a year. They met through mutual friends, and while I liked Mike initially, things started to go downhill pretty fast after he moved in with her 3 months ago. The root of the problem is that Mike is very volatile and quick to anger. He has a history of explosive reactions, which my sister seemed to brush off as just part of his personality. I try to be patient because, well, it's my sister and I wanted to support her. But it became clear pretty soon that Mike's behavior wasn't just irritating. It was destructive and genuinely upsetting. Here's what happened during our family holiday, which is where things blew up. My wife and I host a yearly Thanksgiving dinner at our home. It's kind of a big deal for our family. Everyone looks forward to it. This year, my sister was supposed to come with Mike, and they were staying for 3 days. I had warned my wife and kids about Mike's temper before, but they were willing to give him a chance. The first day was fine. Mike was quiet and mostly kept to himself. But the second evening, things took a turn. We were all sitting around the dining table, eating, chatting, when Mike suddenly lost it over something minor. I honestly don't even remember what triggered him. Maybe someone accidentally bumped into him or made a joke he didn't like. Next thing I knew, he was shouting at my wife about how she was ruining everything and being overbearing with the dinner arrangements. Everyone was stunned. My sister tried to calm him down, but he wouldn't listen. Then he stormed out of the house, slamming the front door so hard it shook the walls. My wife was in tears. The kids were scared and confused. I followed him outside to try and talk to him, but he just yelled at me too, calling me a controlling jerk and saying I should mind my own business. That night, Mike refused to come back in. My sister stayed outside with him until he cooled down, but they left our place early the next morning. After that, I told my sister I couldn't have Mike stay at our house anymore. I didn't want that kind of toxicity in my home, especially around my kids. She was furious, accusing me of being unreasonable and not giving Mike a fair chance. She said I was judging him unfairly and that I should have been more understanding because he's been under a lot of stress lately. I tried explaining that it wasn't about judging him, but about protecting my family from his behavior. She didn't want to hear it. Since then, she's barely spoken to me and has been venting to other family members about how mean I am. Some extended family members have sided with her, saying I should have been more patient and tried harder to help Mike adjust. Others back me up, saying I was right to stand up for my family. The holiday season after that was tense. My sister didn't come to our next family gathering, and Mike hasn't made any attempts to apologize or change. I've reached out to my sister multiple times, tried to mend things, but she's kept her distance. Now, the question I keep getting from others is, am I the asshole for kicking Mike out and refusing to have him in my home? On one hand, I want to be supportive of my sister and her relationship, but on the other, I feel like I have a responsibility to keep my family safe and comfortable. I don't want to normalize yelling and disrespect in my home. AITA for refusing to let my sister's boyfriend stay at my house after his outburst ruined our family holiday? Or should I have been more patient and given him another chance? If you enjoyed the video, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe to the channel. It helps the content grow and motivates me to create even more great videos. Turn on notifications so you don't miss any new uploads. By the way, I'm curious, when do you usually watch my videos? While working, studying, or just relaxing at home? Let me know in the comments. I'd love to hear from you. Thank you for your support. AITA for refusing to attend my sister's forgiveness wedding after she slept with my fiancé. This is going to sound like some kind of soap opera, but unfortunately, it's real life. I, 28F, was engaged to my ex-fiancé, Jason, 30M, for almost 3 years. We started dating in college, built a life together, and were supposed to get married last summer. My younger sister, Emily, 25F, was my maid of honor. She was one of my best friends growing up, and even though she could be dramatic, she was the person I trusted most besides Jason. About a month before the wedding, I found out that Emily and Jason had been sleeping together for months. The way I found out was humiliating, My best friend, who was also one of my bridesmaids, saw them together at a hotel bar, kissing. She took a photo because she thought I wouldn't believe her otherwise. I confronted Jason that night, and he broke down crying, saying it was a drunken mistake that turned into something complicated. Emily claimed she didn't mean for it to happen, but that she couldn't help falling in love. I was devastated. I called off the wedding immediately, told both of them I never wanted to see them again, and went to stay with a friend for a few weeks. My parents tried to mediate and beg me to forgive them, saying that family is family. I told them forgiveness doesn't mean I have to let people who betrayed me stay in my life. For months, I ignored every attempt at contact from Emily and Jason. Fast forward to earlier this year. My mom called me crying, saying Emily and Jason had gotten engaged and were planning to have what they called a forgiveness wedding. Apparently, Emily came up with the theme herself. It's meant to heal old wounds and celebrate second chances. I honestly thought it was a cruel joke at first, but no, it's real. They've been posting on social media about their journey of redemption and how they overcame hate with love. Then came the part that made my blood boil. My parents told me Emily really wanted me to attend because the entire point of the ceremony is forgiveness. They said it would mean the world to her if I came and publicly showed I've moved on. I told them absolutely not. I said that attending that wedding would be a performance, a way for them to use me as a prop to validate their narrative. My mom accused me of being bitter and said, "You can't live your life angry forever." My dad tried to be more diplomatic, but also said, "Maybe showing up will help you find peace." Then Emily called me personally. She started crying right away, saying she knew what she did was wrong, but that she's finally found her true soulmate. She said the wedding is a chance for all of us to move past the darkness. I told her that her darkness destroyed my life, and she doesn't get to decide when I'm ready to move on. She got defensive and said, "So you're just going to hold a grudge forever? You can't even be happy for me." I said no. I don't feel happiness for someone who stole my partner and then turned it into a self-help TED Talk. After that, I started getting texts from family members, cousins, my aunt, even my grandmother, all saying variations of "it's time to forgive." Apparently, Emily told everyone that I'm still too broken to come and that she understands my pain. She even wrote a public Facebook post about how forgiveness is hard but necessary for growth. People were commenting things like, "You're so strong," and "Your sister will come around eventually." It made me sick. I blocked her and Jason on everything, but my mom keeps bringing it up. She said they reserved a seat for me at the wedding in case I change my mind. She told me Emily is planning to mention me in her vows as an example of how love conquers all. The thought of my name being mentioned at that wedding makes my skin crawl. I told my mom that if they mention me publicly in any way, I'll have a lawyer send a cease and desist. She started crying again and said I'm tearing the family apart. It's not just the wedding either. Ever since the engagement announcement, my parents have been treating Emily like the golden child again. They help her plan everything, post pictures with her and Jason, and act like it's all some beautiful love story instead of a betrayal. I feel like I'm living in a parallel universe where the people who hurt me get celebrated for it. Last week, my grandmother called me and said she was heartbroken that I won't come. She said she's old and doesn't want to die knowing her granddaughters are estranged. I told her I love her, but I can't attend an event that's literally built around my trauma. She sighed and said, "Sometimes forgiveness isn't about them. It's about freeing yourself." That line really got to me, and I've been thinking about a lot. I do want to move on, but I don't think forgiveness has to mean standing there smiling while my sister marries the man who betrayed me. I don't owe them a photo op of my healing. Now, the wedding is next weekend, and my phone has been blowing up again. My dad even said, "If you don't show up, people will think you're the one who can't let go." But honestly, I don't care what people think anymore. I just want peace. Still, part of me wonders if I'm being too rigid. Maybe refusing to go is just keeping me tied to the anger. Maybe showing up, even silently, would finally close this chapter. But I also know myself. If I see them together at that altar, smiling and pretending they're the victims who found love through pain, I might actually lose it. So here I am, a year after losing both my fiancé and my sister, wondering if I'm the problem for refusing to play along in their forgiveness fantasy. My parents think I'm selfish. My sister thinks I'm bitter. But I think I'm just trying to protect what little self-respect I have left. AITA for refusing to attend my sister's forgiveness wedding. AITA for telling my brother's fiancé the real reason I won't attend their wedding. So my 29M older brother Jake, 32M, is getting married in December to his fiancée, Emily, 30F. They've been together for about 4 years and engaged for just under 1. Everyone in the family loves her. My mom calls her the daughter she never had, and my dad thinks she's the only reason Jake finally got his act together. I never had a problem with her either, at first. But things have slowly built up over time, and now I'm at the point where I don't think I can even be in the same room as her. Here's some context. I'm gay, and I've been out for about 10 years. My family is pretty accepting, at least on the surface. They don't disown me or anything, but there's a definite undercurrent of discomfort sometimes. Jake and I were never super close growing up, but we had a decent sibling relationship. When I came out, he didn't say anything directly to me, but told a few of our mutual friends that he was worried I was going to bring drama to the family. I chalked it up to ignorance and gave him space. Emily and I met shortly after they started dating. I liked her. She was funny, outgoing, and had this very I'm not like other girls vibe that was charming at first. Over time, though, I started noticing she had a weird habit of trying to one-up or subtly dig at people while pretending she was just joking. Like, she found out I used to do some theater and said, "Of course you did. All gay guys love drama, right?" Then laughed like it was hilarious. Another time, at a family barbecue, she said she wanted to fix me up with her gay co-worker, who she described as so fabulous and sassy. Just your type. I told her I wasn't really interested in being set up and that I preferred quieter, more introverted guys. She rolled her eyes and said, "Well, that's boring. Where's the fun in that?" Still, I let it go. She wasn't being outright cruel, and I assumed she was just socially clumsy. But these micro-comments kept happening. When I brought my boyfriend of 2 years, Ryan, to a family dinner, she made a whole show of calling him my roommate the entire night, even after I corrected her twice. At first, I thought it was just a bad joke, but the second time I said, "He's my boyfriend," she looked me dead in the eye and said, Sure. Roommate. Got it." And then winked. I told Jake afterward that it wasn't cool, and he just shrugged and said, "She jokes like that with everyone. Don't take it so personally." So I stopped bringing Ryan around. The final straw came last month. Jake and Emily sent out their wedding invitations. I got mine in the mail, and to my surprise, it didn't include a +1. I texted Jake and asked if that was a mistake, since I know others, including our cousin who just started dating someone, got +1s. He replied, "Emily, and I just want to keep the guest list tight. Hope that's okay." I tried to accept it, but it really bothered me, especially because I later found out from our cousin that Emily had specifically said, "I don't want any PDA from that side of the family at our wedding. It's not the vibe we're going for." I sat with it for a couple of weeks and decided I wasn't going to go. I sent a polite message to Jake saying I wished them well, but I didn't feel comfortable attending. Emily called me 2 days later, absolutely furious. She said she knew I was going to try to make the wedding about me and accused me of being dramatic. She asked if this was because I didn't get a +1. I said, "It's not just that. It's the pattern of comments, the exclusion, and the general vibe that I'm not welcome as my full self." She got quiet for a second and then said, "I'm sorry if I made you uncomfortable, but that's just how I am. You're being overly sensitive. I treat everyone the same." I replied, "No, you don't. And honestly, I think it's better if I'm just not there to ruin your aesthetic." She hung up on me. Now Jake is furious too. He sent me a long text saying I've embarrassed him and made things harder for Emily, and that this was supposed to be the happiest day of his life, but I've made it all about me. My parents are trying to stay out of it, but my mom did say it would really mean a lot if you could just go for Jake's sake. Some of my friends say I'm totally justified in skipping the wedding, but others think I should have just quietly declined and not said anything to Emily. One even said maybe she's just clueless, not malicious, and that calling her out like that was unnecessary. I don't want to make this into some crusade or stand for attention. I just don't want to be somewhere I'm clearly not wanted or tolerated at best. But now I'm wondering if I should have just sucked it up for family peace. AITA for telling Emily the truth and skipping the wedding?